Welcome to Foundations. Here we're going to be discussing some of the basics. The self-tape audition has become the industry standard. Your audition is supported by 4 pillars: lights, camera, background, and a reader. I appreciate you trusting me to guide you in your journey. Peace, greetings. Welcome to Foundations. I'm Nuri Hazzard. I'm super grateful to be here with you sharing this information today. This is a culmination of all my best to help guide you into getting into your acting journey. Now, we're going to be discussing self-tape auditioning, how to get auditions to begin with, some of the best technical solutions to self-tape auditioning, and much, much more. I appreciate you trusting me to guide you in your journey. Now, who am I? Like I said, I'm Nuri Hazzard. My acting journey started at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I went from there to North Carolina School of the Arts. And from there, I've been working in this field professionally for 10 plus years. You may have seen me in films like American Milkshake. You may have seen me on TV in shows like Wu-Tang and American Saga or Law and Order. You may have seen me on stage in plays like Sinking Ink. You may have seen me on commercials like McDonald's or Amazon for the Super Bowl. This is a culmination of all the information that I've gathered through all of those experiences and how they've helped me get those experiences to begin with. Let's get it started. So let's start with the self-tape. Why self-tape at all? Prior to COVID-19, you get your sides, prepare, go into the office, do your best, and wait for the call. Post-COVID-19, self-tape auditioning has become the industry standard. That's why all actors need to know how to do it. So, let's get into the pros, cons, and differences between auditioning in person and self-tape auditions. Pros of self-taping. One of the biggest pros of self-taping is you have more control over the process. When I used to audition in person on a regular basis, I would prepare my material, go into the audition, and I felt like at the end of it, even if I would get 2 or 3 extra takes, I felt like it whizzed by me. I felt like I didn't really have much control over the process. Now that I self-tape on a regular basis, I can control when I do the self-tape, how I do the self-tape, and when I feel like my audition will suffice. Opportunity to personalize. With self-tape auditioning, you can add props, costumes, blocking. You can set up your space in whatever way helps you best tell the story. Control over the production qualities. You can make sure that your lighting is right, that your hair is pristine, that your skin isn't oily, and that the camera caught all your best angles. You can't win the room. You can't affect the casting faculty with your personal essence. There's an inexplicable magic about you just being you. Time to nitpick. Let's say the audition is due on Friday. You complete it on Tuesday. That leaves you 4 days to go back to an audition that could be perfect and go back in and take it apart and want to do this again and want to try that again and maybe even turn in a lesser audition. You're responsible for the technical efficiency, meaning if your sound isn't good, if your lighting isn't right, if you didn't clean off your camera first, you're responsible. Finding a reader. This one isn't as difficult to navigate as the others may be, but you're responsible for finding a reader, and an adequate reader at that. So the reader is going to be the person who's going to read all the lines that aren't yours. Big job. You can't ask for real-time direction. So when you audition in person, if you have any questions about the story or performance or your character, you could just ask the people right there in the room. When you're doing a self-tape, you've got to send it in and just wait for their response. Now that we've covered the nature and importance of the self-tape, let's talk about what you're going to need to do it. Your audition is supported by 4 pillars: lights, camera, background, and a reader. Let's start with lights. With all the great acting work you're going to do, it's imperative that they can see you. This is achieved with lighting. There are many ways to light yourself, but I choose to use one light, which in this context would be called a key light. My key light is a ring light. Ring lights are pretty easy to find online and in store and can be relatively inexpensive. But this is definitely one of those things where you get what you pay for, so consider it an investment in yourself. When shopping for ring lights, the best ones will allow you to control the warmness of the light and the amount of light emitted with a dimmer. Also, always remember that the most complementary light is natural light. So, if you can find a space that allows you to use the light from a window, do it, even if it's in tandem with your ring light. If you want to expand your lighting possibilities, you can consider building what is called a 2-point or 3-point lighting system. In a 2-point system, there's your key light and a fill light. The fill light gives you more control over shadows by filling them in how you desire. The 3-point system is comprised of a key light, fill light, and a hair light. The hair light illuminates the back of your head, creating separation between you and the background. The next pillar is your camera. You can go one of two ways with this. You can use the camera on your phone or a DSLR. My setup uses my camera phone rigged into my ring light. For me, the DSLR is more complex and requires extra hardware, specifically a SD card and an SD card reader. I also suggest using your phone because most of us already have one, and the camera phone technology has advanced to the point where nowadays it's pretty much rivaling the cameras on the market. I also find autonomy in editing and sending videos from my phone that I prefer over using a DSLR. For example, when using an iPhone to record, one could use their Apple Watch to initiate recording, allowing one to start recording from their starting position as opposed to having to use the actual phone. And of course, as you record, make sure that the basics are covered, like making sure that your camera lens is clean and your audio is working properly. Our third pillar is the background. When it comes to backgrounds, a blank white wall will suffice. But one could invest in backdrops, which will enhance your auditions. There are two kinds, stationary and portable backdrops. Stationary backdrops are more durable and cover more space, but are generally more cumbersome and stay in one place. Portable backdrops are less heavy, can be installed in more places, and usually require less setup, making them ideal for portable audition kits. And of course, you want your background to be literally quiet. There's nothing like a siren blaring as you admit your love to your long-lost best friend as your spaceship is crashing to the earth. And finally, your reader. Your reader is essential. They're reading all the lines that aren't your characters in the side. It helps when your reader enjoys the process, understands the scene, and knows how to read well. You can use your friends, other actors, or find a reader on We Audition. I'll be sharing my personal We Audition information so you can work with me directly on all this stuff. And now, the audition. We've covered all the things you're gonna need to audition. Let's talk about getting auditions and how to execute on them once you get them. Now, the most effective way to get an audition is by having an agent. That process can be a little challenging and it can take some time. So what do you do in the meantime? If I were you, I'd subscribe myself to platforms like Actors Access, Casting Network, Playbill, and if you're in New York, One-on-One. So once you've got the audition, here's some things to consider for success. Take your time. Give yourself enough time that you don't have to rush. Be simple, honest, and direct with your acting. Take chances. Don't play it safe. Stay grounded in the world of the piece. Take opportunities to let your creativity and charisma show. Make sure you're seen. Avoid profile, distracting prop use, and poor sightlines. Don't overdo it. Take breaks if you need to. No need to burn out. It's valid when you like it. You know your talent, you know what you have to offer, and you know when you've shown it. And with that, we've covered all the foundations needed for you to take your first steps in your acting journey. Be sure to stay tuned with me for additions to this series. It's been my honor. It's been my pleasure. Till next time, peace.